Electromagnetic pulses, or EMPs, often are featured in science fiction and doomsday scenarios. But what are they really? And should we be as worried as those movies and books suggest? EMPs can be mysterious and intimidating, but by debunking some common myths, we can better understand what EMPs are actually capable of and how we can realistically prepare for them. So what the heck is an EMP? Well, simply, an EMP is a burst of electromagnetic energy that can disrupt or damage electronic equipment and systems. While EMPs can be caused by natural events like solar flares, they're more commonly associated with nuclear detonations or specially designed weapons. The Carrington Event. The Carrington Event of 1859 was the most powerful solar storm on record, causing widespread disruptions to telegraph systems across Europe and North America. This massive but not man-made event caused telegraph systems to fail, sparking fires in telegraph stations and even allowing some operators to send messages despite disconnected power sources. Yeah, you heard that right. During the Carrington Event, some telegraph operators were able to send and receive messages even though the power supplies were disconnected, thanks to the electrical currents induced by this geomagnetic storm. Such intense solar events are rare. They occur maybe once every 500 years, making them infrequent but still significant threats. The possibility of man-made EMPs. A man-made EMP is typically generated by a nuclear explosion detonated at a high altitude, where the blast emits a burst of gamma rays that interact with the Earth's atmosphere to produce a wide-reaching electromagnetic pulse. And with today's advancements in technology, including those balloons and low Earth orbit satellites capable of carrying payloads, it is increasingly challenging for a country to preemptively detect and neutralize an EMP attack before it occurs, making such threats a lot more plausible and difficult to defend against. If strategically deployed, just a few of these high-altitude nuclear detonations could potentially disable an entire country's electrical grid, crippling its critical infrastructure and disrupting everything from communications to water supply. And while critical military and government assets often have hardened protections, the larger civilian infrastructure remains vulnerable. Now let's take a look at some common myths and why they are myths. Well, EMPs can cause physical damage. No. EMPs will not shatter windows or level buildings. Their damage is silent and invisible, targeting electronics and power systems without directly affecting the physical structure of objects. All electronics are going to be destroyed. Nope, not all electronics are doomed in the event of an EMP. The impact will widely vary based on the device's proximity to the EMP source, its level of shielding, and whether it's connected to the power grid. Portable battery-operated devices not plugged into the wall during an EMP could very well survive the pulse entirely unscathed. EMPs are lethal to humans. No, humans are remarkably immune to the direct effects of EMPs. The pulse itself doesn't harm living tissue, so there's no need to worry about an EMP causing physical harm to you. Well, EMPs are easy to make. Okay, creating an EMP that affects a large area is anything but simple. It requires advanced knowledge, substantial resources, and the kind of technology generally only available to governments or major military powers. EMPs act instantaneously. No, the initial EMP wave travels quickly, but the fallout isn't instant magic. It's the beginning of a potentially long process of recovery and repair, especially to electrical grid and communication networks. Every vehicle is going to stop running. Okay, well, some vehicles, especially modern ones that are fancy electronic systems, might stall from an EMP, but not all will. It's kind of a crapshoot on how much damage a vehicle takes, how far away from the epicenter of the EMP it is, and what type of shielding it has in place. Older models without electronic components or those shielded against EMPs are pretty likely to keep on going. EMPs are unstoppable. Kind of. We can defend against EMPs to a degree. Techniques like shielding sensitive electronics, creating and using Faraday cages, and installing EMP-resistant infrastructure can help mitigate the effects of an EMP. Well, EMP is going to be the end of civilization. Though super disruptive, the EMPs are not the end of the world or apocalypse. With proper preparation and resilience, communities can recover from the effects over time, preventing an EMP from ending modern civilization as we know it. Knowledge is power. Understanding what EMPs can and can't do helps us all be a little bit more prepared. By getting rid of these myths and understanding the facts, we can prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. And if you liked this video or learned something, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget the notification bell because I post survival quiz questions every single morning.